Where did you go to school?
And here's your name.
What do you think of what's going on right now, mate?
These evil little invisible parasites.
Satan-worshipping Freemason morons.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
We're not run by factions.
Get the fuck out of camera!
There are much more powerful international forces in play.
Is this pink eye? Is this what pink eye is? I don't fucking know what's happening.
I had to actually Google it, neo-Nazi men.
Please go outside and look at the moon quickly.
It's been crazy, guys, but guess what? It's how it is, mate.
Mate, because I want to do it slowly.
Well, I ain't spending any time on it.
Welcome to the Conditional Release Program, a podcast that delves into the nether world of cults, crims, and con artists. I'm Jack the Insider, otherwise known as Peter Hoisted for tax purposes.
And I'm Joel Hill, and in today's program, we've drugged America's most horrific grifter, Stu Peters, and we've stuck his legs up in stirrups. We're putting a long hose up his ass, in the name of journalism, of course, to just see what's up there. But I'd say it's mostly shit.
Well, it's also a bit of domestic violence and an endless appetite for the grift. But we don't want to give too much away.
No.
You'll have to listen to the rabbit hole to get all the grisly details.
Yes, it's a bit of a long one today, but fuck, I enjoyed writing it way too much. And in the news, diphtheria is back, and we have a big thank you to the Academy, God, and anti-vax Byron Bay idiots.
And we'll have all your favourite segments, including Which Black Pill Fuckwit Said That, and The Week in Pete Evans.
Yes, he will. And in what has become a weekly beaking exercise, we must remind listeners that this kind of piss-funny tomfoolery ain't cheap. It costs a lot of time, blood, money, tears. So we ask you to help support the show. It really means a lot.
Occasionally tears.
Well, there's blood and tears. You just don't see them.
Okay, I'm crying now. I'm
I'm crying blood. Call me Jesus. The Conditional Release Program is free in dollar terms, but it does have a human cost on Jack especially, who's just been roused out of consciousness today with pseudoephedrine and, as we said last week, designer drugs. We have a Patreon set up with all manner of edgy content behind the paywall, and we're going to put more into it. And it's our way of saying thank you for supporting us and giving you second-rate content, which people actually really enjoy. So fucking get them out. Get around
we'll be doing lots of it. And you can find your way to all of it by going to www.patreon.com/the Conditional Release Program and making a small investment.
Tiny.
And we would like to thank our existing patrons for helping us keep this show sustainable and our new buddies who have just entered our hearts forever.
We did. Dan Schreiber. I was very surprised to see that. Thank you, Dan. What a legend. So for as little as $5 a month or 10 if you like Dan Schreiber, you'll have access to all sorts of amazing content. So hit us up on Patreon if you can. And Dan, you're not getting a sticker pack. You live in England. The postage is too much.
So give until it hurts and then reject all medical advice because Tom Barnett can heal you by yoga.
Yes, and it's not a disease, it's just chemtrails.
But that's enough of that and him for now, because it's on with the show and the Conditional Release Program's weekly news.
Hey. Jack!
What, Joel?
Diphtheria! It's back!
Oh, fantastic.
I know. According to the government, so you know it's a lie, diphtheria is a contagious disease spread by an infected person's coughing, sneezing, or open wounds. Symptoms include a sore throat and breathing problems. That's not good. Diphtheria can affect people of all ages, but can be prevented with vaccination.
Yeah.
Treatment includes antibiotics and diphtheria antitoxin.
Yeah, that's why we haven't had any diphtheria for 40 years.
Yes.
No diagnosis of diphtheria for 40 years because we have vaccination, childhood vaccination for diphtheria.
We do have more details on the diagnosis in a second because the history is patchy. But the sentence here that's doing the heavy lifting is absolutely can be prevented with vaccination. And it's not even a diphtheria vaccine per se, but it's a convenient diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine.
It's your diptat. You got to have your diptat.
And no one ever gets fucking diphtheria vaccinated. What they do is they stab themselves at work, and then you get a fucking tetanus shot, and you get the other stuff just knocked in there, which is cool. I mean, it's very convenient. That's how I got mine, at least. And I hadn't had one until then because my mum's an anti-vaxxer. The vaccination program has been so successful that full-blown diphtheria of the throat has not been seen in New South Wales for a century. So yes, you were close. 40 years, a fucking century apparently.
Wow.
There was all sorts of different reports though. It was the journalists are not on the ball at the moment. They're not statisticians at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, I suspect there are probably causes for that. So I'm going to go with 40, but that's long enough.
I read like 6 articles to try and find a fucking coherent result on when the last case was. But the thing is, they've got these other cases, these milder cases of diphtheria in the form of skin infections, and they haven't been around since 1990, so it's all just fucking semantics. But while all of this is really interesting, it's a little bit too soon as well to be sticking the boot into the Northern Rivers after the floods.
I don't know, Joel.
They've had
I'm
a
ready.
bad time. It's raining now. They're probably all in lifeboats, and Dave O'Neig's is probably hassling them.
No, they missed out. It started at Port Stephens. This is Sydney floods, mate.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So, fuck Penrith. We don't care about them. So, look, we are going to make a collective
do
sigh
care about
sound
Penrith.
upon the fairly obvious revelation, and you all know this, that the cases that have been confirmed are in the anti-vax capital of the country, fucking northern New South Wales.
Hello, anti-vaxxers.
They don't say where, but yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's probably Yukai or Mullumbimby or fucking whatever. So the less funny part is that a 2-year-old is actually in intensive care battling
Not
the
funny at
infection.
all.
And since then, a 6-year-old has also been infected, but he's in hospital as a precaution. So he's just having a shit week. I mean, it's not like alarm bells, ventilators, and things like that. But I mean, you know, it's sketchy.
There's some sort of close familial connection there has been described. So I don't know that they're
mates or
actually
something.
from the same nuclear family, but it seems like they're related. You know,
Yeah, I think
cousins
they're-
or something like that.
Either mates or related, I'm not sure. But they were playing around or something. Basically, you know, both children, it really goes without saying, were unvaccinated. You know, like that's just the crux of this story. So the first case was detected on the 2nd of July, and the second case was detected a couple of days later. But so far, no other case has been reported. I mean, we're recording on the 4th of July. So, I mean, like, you know, it's not
Independence
exactly...
Day, Joel.
Huh?
Happy Independence Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Aldi is selling American stuff. It's
We'll
really
get to
good.
the Americans. Yeah.
The Reese's Pieces are delicious. So this is the thing. The close contact's being monitored and all the public health stuff is happening, which is fine. And I do not want to make light of a toddler in ICU and a sick child. That's not funny. It's fucked up. But I think we've all had the same thought when this hit the news, which is that the cookers are going to lose their fucking minds. And they have. Facebook comments are terrible. Telegram is hilarious. I'm not going to bore you with a million of them. You've probably seen them on your travels across the internet. But obviously, this whole thing is completely orchestrated to push vaccines onto people. And that is a given. I mean, that's just the world we live in now, apparently. But Shiloh Wishbringer, love that, has a little bit of skepticism about how the vaccine could possibly even work.
And he said, or wrote, our stupid Channel 7 Australian News just deleted that a child has contracted diphtheria. They made it a point to say that the child was unvaccinated and that it could have been prevented only the child was vaccinated, I presume. Wow, I didn't know that diphtheria can be cured by the brand new COVID-19 vaccination. What else does this miracle drug cure? Obviously not COVID-19. How stupid do they think we are? I don't know. They're Shiloh. Pretty fucking stupid.
Pretty fucking stupid. But it's really interesting, the fact that, like, you know, with old school anti-vaxxers, they used to really talk, you know, DTaP, blah, 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 MMR, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you
now
gotta
it's
get
just
your
like,
DipTat.
there's only one vaccine that exists. Why does it do all these diseases? People are
Shiloh
fucking
Wishbringer, come see me after class. You're a fucking idiot.
And of course, it goes without saying that everything now is just a vaccine injury. So Dave O'Neig's chimed in with his 2 cents, which was, fuck these creeps are so effing sick. Another effing cover story for jab injuries, nerve damage and heart failure in children. Absolutely evil fuckery all over the place. Hashtag hell is empty. What does that mean? It means fucking nothing. But everything now is a fucking jab injury. This is just how they're going to justify this ridiculous thing over the next few years, that anything that happens is just a cover up for vaccine injuries or vaccine adverse reactions. No reason for this. There's no reason to believe this at all. He's a fucking idiot. So look, anti-vax paranoia is nothing new. You guys know that. Meryl Dorey and the AVN have plenty of form trying to scare people off vaccines, including the DTaP. I've seen some posts. I can't be bothered quoting them. But after COVID has ruined so many people's brains on the internet, every time there's some kind of outbreak that requires some sort of coherent, basic public health response, it has to be some dopey conspiracy theory to sell low-profit post-patent vaccination shots. No one's making money off those. They're manual labor. But this one's no different. And the overwhelming majority of commentary I've found around this is simply that vaccines are a good idea, and due to quick and decisive action, including a very quick-witted diagnosis from the hospital at the time who randomly went, oh, that's probably diphtheria, when it doesn't exist in the country, the infection may be contained at 2 people.
Yeah, it's good work. Good public health work.
2 is too many, though. And while the Northern Rivers continue to put anti-vaxxers on a fucking weird cultural pedestal and create this kind of fashion around pointless medical rebellion, we're going to see more of this shit in the years to come. So brace yourselves.
Can I just remind our listeners that New South Wales Health keeps statistics on childhood vaccination, and the highest rate by region is the Outer West, which is literally back of Burke, with comprised of Indigenous populations, remote populations, so logistical problems of getting kids vaccinated. Their vaccination rate, 94%.
Amazing.
In Byron Bay Shire, 69.
Yep, that sounds about right. Fucking idiots. And one of the things that Jane Hansen did some great reporting on was how, I think it was Jane Hansen, now vaccination rates went up dramatically when they started withholding benefits as a result. So they took away the childcare stuff, and they all secretly got
Western Australia's figures were very low, and it was actually the Abbott government who brought in the no jab, no pay, and that was family tax benefit A and B. You wouldn't get it if you had no jab, and those figures have corrected now.
Yeah, and then once you take away the money,
a bit of money. Yeah. I can see some sense in it now.
Funny what happens, but apparently in the Northern Rivers they don't tell anyone.
No,
they keep it a
still
secret.
Very low, and I don't think there's anything you can do in terms of an information campaign or anything like that to bring this around now. There are too many people who are compromised about this.
There's a giant fucking banner in Mullumbimby about anti-vax in the town square. I can't remember what it says. I got photographed with it a while ago. It was very funny. Anyway, we digress.
69%, you fucking no-hopers.
Maybe they just think the number's funny.
It is kind of funny. Dinner for two. All right. All right. How do you go from being an Obama supporter to a pro-Putin activist in political asylum in Russia? Well, I'll explain, but in this instance, the process took around 4 years. And the New York Times reported on 4th of July, Happy Independence Day, everyone. They tell a story of Charles Bausman.
Thank you very much.
Who took that huge leap, huger still considering he was with the mob inside the Capitol building on Jan 6, 2020.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, yeah. Security footage from January 6 shows Bausman wearing a red Trump hat, filtering into the US Capitol building and recording the mayhem
creating
on his
evidence.
phone. Yeah, there he is. He's unmistakable. He's just a skinny little dweeb, really, standing there waving his camera around. Within 24 hours, Bausman gave his recordings and commentary to a Russian television producer for a propaganda video. He then decamped to Moscow, where, appearing on a far-right television network owned by a sanctioned oligarch, he recently accused American media of covering up for neo-Nazis in Ukraine. For Mr. Bausman, an American alumnus of Phillips Exeter Academy and Wesleyan University, he speaks fluent Russian.
Oh, wow.
It was the latest chapter in a strange odyssey.
Oh.
Once a financial executive who voted for President Barack Obama, he emerged in 2014 as a public critic of the left and of the United States, boosted by Russian state-sponsored organisations through speaking invitations, TV appearances and awards.
This is what happens to anti-vaxxers. They get in this weird little paradigm shift. And then they get thrown resources and then they go headfirst into it.
This is an amazing shift. And what's driven it really is cash and clout. And that's the lesson.
Cash and clout, man. It goes a long way. It changes people.
Yeah. Central to his transformation was a series of websites he created pushing anti-America, pro-Russian themes, as well as racist and homophobic messaging. Some of his posts have racked up millions of views, and his 5,000 words screed on, and I quote, the Jewish problem, unquote, has been hailed by anti-Semites around the world and translated into multiple languages.
Yeah, that's the first thing we need, the Jewish problem to be translated into multiple languages. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. This is an Obama vote.
This is a really interesting story.
And back in 2014, when President Putin had just invaded Crimea, Bausman said he had an idea. He would create an alternative news source to counter what he called Western media's, quote, inaccurate, incomplete, and unrealistically negative picture of Russia, unquote.
Yep, okay.
He established Russia Insider, and after it went live, Bausman began appearing on RT and other Russian media, which we don't see anymore because it's barred. And a news crew from a major state-owned TV channel travelled to his parents' home in Connecticut to film him discussing his new website. On Facebook, he boasted that, and I quote again, our traffic exploded after this aired.
There's the clout. There's the clout.
He was invited to join panel discussions at another state-owned outlet, that's Russian state-owned outlet, received an award in 2016 named after a pro-Russia journalist killed in Ukraine.
Okay.
we can talk about the number of Russian journalists being killed in Russia, and spoke at a Kremlin-sponsored youth conference in newly captured Crimea.
It's stuff like that gets you sanctioned, Jack.
Yeah, I know. He gave interviews to Russian Orthodox religious figures, speaking approvingly of Malafiev, who's basically the head of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Oh, okay.
In April 2016, Bausman's work was promoted by a Russian website, RIAFAN, that has been linked to Yevgeny Prigozhin, an oligarch indicted by the special counsel Robert S. Mueller. The special investigation during the Trump years. The website initially shared an address with the Internet Research Agency, the Russian government troll factory, accused of using fake social media accounts and online propaganda to disrupt the 2016 US presidential election.
Interesting.
Russia analysts who have followed Bausman's work say it has all the hallmarks of a disinformation project. Olga Lautman, a senior fellow at the Centre for European Policy Analysis, who researches Russian propaganda campaigns, said Bausman's messaging merged seamlessly with that of Mr. Putin's government. With Donald J. Trump's 2016 presidential victory, Bausman's media outlet began to promote more extreme views. In a celebratory post after the election, he struck a militant chord that shocked old friends. And this is a quote, and a long one. Trump's election is perhaps akin to Luther nailing his theses to the door. But now the demons are awakened and they know they must fight or be killed, as in the 16th century. They will not go quietly, Bausman wrote. And there will be blood. Let us hope that it is the figurative digital kind and not the real red, hot, sticky stuff. That was after the 2016 election of the Trumpster. A turning point came 2 years later in January 2018 when Bausman posted a lengthy polemic. It's time to drop the Jew taboo, he said. And that was both an anti-Semitic manifesto and a call to action for the alt-right. And here's another quote from Bausman. The evidence suggests that much of human enterprise dominated and shaped by Jews is a bottomless pit of trouble with a peculiar penchant for mendacity and cynicism, hostility to Christianity and Christian values, and in geopolitics, a clear blood lust, he wrote. Always be careful of people who talk about hostility to Christianity and Christian values. They often are covering up anti-Semitic tropes. And now no one is saying that Bausman is proof of a Russian connection with the Trump administration. It's far more complicated than that. But here we have a wealthy, well-educated man who went from progressive affiliated politically to a vicious anti-Semite in the pay of one of the worst regimes on earth, and who was radicalised slowly but surely by extreme right figures and oligarchs in Russia, to the point now where he can't return home lest he face US federal crimes or charges for crimes of being an agent of a foreign nation, which he almost certainly has been. Trump is only part of this fellow's radicalisation. At the heart of it is cash payments from Russia to join in on pro-Putin propaganda while appealing to Trump devotees. So when we look at someone like Simeon Boykov, much loved member, what do we call him? Close friend of the podcast.
Yeah, very good close friend of the podcast.
Not listening at the moment, currently, I wouldn't think. So when we do look at someone like Simeon Boykov, whose interests may be similar, but circumstances are not, we see Bausman has been attracted by the two great pulls, the same great pulls, money and clout.
Yep,
Bausman,
exactly.
funnily enough, wants a pardon from Trump. It's a little bit late for that. And in the good old days, you'd be hanged as a traitor. Now, when we listen to Bausman's story, we barely bat an eyelid.
And just as a side note, Charles Bausman, I just found on Telegram, has 10 subscribers. I might become number 11. And it is an absolute cesspool. It is disgusting.
It will be a cesspit of extreme right-wing anti-Semitic shite.
Loves RFK Jr.
And in 2014, 2013, 2012, he voted for Barack Obama.
What a real piece of shit.
I'll do anything for you. Money! Just tell me what you want me to do.
The Conditional Release program is proudly brought to you today by the Northern Rivers and preventable childhood diseases. Listeners, got a touch of nostalgia for the good old days when measles was just a good lie-in for a week? Why not assume the horizontal at one of Byron's 4-star hotels? Need that rapid weight loss to fit in your swimmers this summer that only cholera can bring? Got that lazy holiday feel that screams, I need an iron lung? Then why not come to the Northern Rivers, where no one is vaccinated anymore? Listeners, imagine shuffling around beautiful Byron in your orthopedic thongs. If you pick up a bit of diphtheria, don't worry. Simply cast a few ultramarine crystals over your guts and you'll be dead in no time. Dead set having fun, that is. Whoop it up with the kids with whooping cough at Byron's spectacular beaches, unique shopping and dining experiences, world-class festivals, and vibrant community anti-vax spirit. Nothing says fun in the sun than I got hepatitis A in Byron from that tofu burger at the Whole Foods shop.
It means you ate shit.
Got polio? Well, don't make too much noise or everyone will want it. Remember, listeners, it has to be Byron Bay for all your unvaxxed holiday needs. Kill the kids, and it's half price.
Oh, so clearly it's not too soon after the floods for you.
I think one of the first things it says within the Constitution is all laws within.
And with the gentle reprise of the constitutional legal genius Fanos Panaidi sweeping across our shell-likes, it means it's time for Which Black Pill Fuckwit Said That, the quiz show that places fuckwits on a pedestal so we can all throw things at them. Go to the face with a big, weighty rock. That's my advice. Fuckwits hate having facial scars.
So many cookers have facial scars. I'm just going to throw it out there.
And if you're successful in today's Which Black Pill Fuckwit That Said That, Joel, you'll be given cash donations from our listeners and be sent out to rescue Sydney flood victims, but only the ones you like.
Do you agree with me politically? Otherwise, get out of my raft.
If you don't want to do that, just skylark around on a jet ski and find a wet dog or something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, claim hero status and demand more money for all the people you didn't help. Plus, free jet ski.
Hey! It really is very funny, though. Dave O'Neiggs and all those sort of guys are totally
what
set
he
at this
did.
parallel rescue service. Like,
Found a wet dog.
but it's like, it's hilarious. And apparently there was a cow involved. And I don't really know the story there, but it didn't go well, apparently. Basically, like, you know, you walking around and you're saying, okay, so are you a lefty? Oh, sorry. You can stay on the roof then. Like,
Vaccinated,
that's
mate.
crazy.
You
Imagine
vaccinated for
doing that.
COVID, mate? Yeah. Can't help you, mate.
Can't help you. Can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you think the Constitution is a valid act, or do you think that it is a invalid? No. Okay, yeah, get out.
Oh, and also, according to a Facebook post from Lucky Lance today, there's a bit of MLM business going on with Dave
Yes.
O'Neiggs.
He actually responded to that, and he said basically, you know, ha ha ha, is that the best you've got? This is a company I've been doing work with for like 10 years. And you're like, oh, so you've been working as a fucking MLM scammer for 10 years. At what point is that a virtue? You just owned yourself.
And look, you know, being rescued on the jet ski from O'Neiggs, it'd be like, mate, have you ever considered this? Have you ever considered international travel?
Yeah, do you like holidays? Because I tell you what, I've got the deal for you.
You know, push back in the water.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, I've had a holiday this year. I'm sorry, I can't go. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is your stop.
I can't help you.
Get in the creek.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got a solid list of listener contributions here today, starting with listener Cap and Happy, one of my very favourite patrons, I think, Cap and Happy. And this is a quote which we'll just start in the middle of. So there's a ... What he's done is stand up to freedoms. Stand up to freedoms? What? Standing up to freedoms. I'm not going to take it anymore from you, freedoms. What he's done is stand up to freedoms, and people think that. This is some weird gaslighting shit that went on where people equated freedom and saying the word freedom to, like, right-wing bigotry and hate is so strange.
Okay.
That's all right. What's that? Political scientist, historian, and politician, best known for his 4-volume Democracy in America, Alex de Tocqueville.
I had to study that shit in university. Ugh.
Was it political scientist, author, torture victim, often misquoted as having said the ends justifies the means? Niccolo Machiavelli? Never said that. Never said that. Never wrote it. Never said it. He kind of meant it. He just didn't say it. Or was it political scientist, economist, author, known as the least funny member of the Marx Brothers, Carlo Marx?
Oh, mate, come on. Karl Marx, if you haven't read Capital and had a bit of a laugh, then that's you. That's on you. I never tried.
It's not. Dust Capital is not a funny book.
It was actually a bit of a badge of honor back at university if you'd read it and managed to get to the end, and like there were like two people.
I don't know anyone who's got to the end of Dust Capital. Now,
Political
they can all
economy people
say
are
they have, but I don't believe them.
Oh, I believe these guys.
Or was it podcaster, professional idiot, not a political scientist, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Joe. That was gibberish.
That seems to be a fairly easy one, I think, to start us all off here. So what Captain Happy actually sent us about is this is Joe Rogan basically pitching in for DeSantis, the Florida governor, for his tilt in 2024,
Him and Elon Musk.
Presidential tilt, which almost certainly happened. So Joe Rogan's cap is in the ring.
Ugh.
What he's done is stand up to freedoms, and people think that this is some weird gaslighting shit that went on where people equated freedom and saying the word freedom to like right-wing bigotry and hate is so strange.
Okay, now it makes more sense.
He may not be a political scientist, Joe Rogan, but he understands right-wing bigotry and hate.
He's a fucking moron.
All right, and we want to thank listener James for the next quote here. The church is supposed to direct the government.
Is it?
The government is not supposed to direct the church.
Isn't that?
Not sure about that. Anyway, not sure about how I feel about that. But anyway, the church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it.
Okay, I'll leave my objections till later.
I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk. That's not in the Constitution.
Yes, it is.
It actually is. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like they say it does.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the end of the quote. Was that the Constitution is really more of a guideline? Congresswoman for Colorado's 3rd District, Lauren Burbett. Burbett. It's a great name. Just say it out loud often. Burbett.
3 times quickly.
Sort of noise your ass flaps make when you drop a big one out. Burbett. Anyway, was it the Constitution allows me to shoot people? It's there up the back somewhere. Congresswoman for Georgia's Fuckwit District made Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know what district it is, but there are a lot of fuckwits living there. Or was it the Constitution prohibits killing of fetuses but encourages killing postpartum? President of the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America organisation, Marjorie Dannenfelser. Ooh, she's almost felcher. She's almost a felcher. She's almost a felcher. She's not quite a felcher.
No, not quite.
Or was it the Constitution makes my uterus more important than yours? Legislative Director of Texas Right to Life, John Seago. He's got a great uterus. Terrific. Eat your dinner off it.
This is an argument for burying the quote because I did see it. And it's Lauren Boebert.
You cheated, Joel.
I didn't cheat.
Not only did you cheat, you've acknowledged that you've cheated.
Bury the quote. Just bury it hard. You've got to bury it with text. You can't bury it with spaces because Google removes the spaces and it comes up in the subject.
We do see a lot of people burying quotes, so just throwing enormous objects, illustrations,
just walls
and
of
things
text.
like that.
Put in a wall of text, so I'll see it. And also, it looks like the separation of church and state is actually in
It is
a letter. No, it's not.
It's
It's referencing the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. It's a letter, and it references. There's a quote here that references it, and it's basically referring to the Bill of Rights. She might be right.
Oh,
we might be wrong.
I mean, look, if it's not directly in there, it is done implicitly. The founding of the United States and its constitution was based on freedom from religious persecution substantially because, this was founded not long after the Reformation and Counter-Reformation.
The part that she's wrong about is the fact that it's not how the Founding Fathers intended it. Now, I don't know if the Founding Fathers had the best of intentions. I'm pretty sure they were still whipping black guys at that point. But at the same time, like...
Well, Thomas Jefferson wasn't whipping them. Thomas Jefferson wasn't whipping slaves.
No.
What was he?
Oh, that's great. That is such a fucking improvement.
They said there are so many black Americans who have blood ties to Jefferson.
That is insane. He is actually Genghis Khan of slavery.
But he is a terrific fellow, a polymath.
Yeah, really? Oh, that's good. Yeah, Genghis Khan of slavery and a polymath. Well, I'm focusing on the Genghis Khan part.
Yeah, I think he was, look, I don't know who had the most. I think Washington had slaves, and certainly Jefferson did. Most of the founding fathers were slave owners.
Founding fathers' intentions I don't know if that's my benchmark for morality, but that's all right.
Yeah. late 18th century, let's cut them some slack.
Different times. Different times.
Get a few slaves back in those days.
Get fucked.
Yeah. It sort of, it does speak to this constitution. But I do love these 21st century clowns who go, look, I know exactly what the founding fathers wanted. I know exactly.
I talk to them. I've got a Ouija board. I say to it, tell me what you were thinking. And the little thing goes, and it takes ages to spell it out. And sometimes they get the spelling wrong because they're also fucking idiots.
So that was, in fact, Lauren Burbot, Miss Arse Flaps herself. Burbot. Burbot. All right. I think you might get this, Joel. I think you might be a proud new owner of a brand new jet ski.
I want it. I want this prize.
Shoot to kill anyone who tries to inject children under the age of 19 years old with coronavirus 19 vaccines / bioweapons or any other vaccines for that matter. This order is effective immediately. So it's an order. It's not, just I'm thinking you should do this. It's a fucking order.
Yeah.
Get out there and start shooting anyone.
And I think it's coming from the Queen, but let's go.
All right. Was it shifting his hanging policy to long firearms for economic reasons, Ricky Bozzy?
Yeah, you got to get the cost down.
Yeah. Was it currently engaged in fervent pro-Putin conversations while dodging kettles full of boiling water down at Cell Block H, HM Silverwater, Simeon Boykov?
Ooh.
What's that boiling water? It'll take a couple of layers of skin off. Or was it off with their heads and then put them back on again for a shooting? Queen Romana I of Canada and now the world?
Oh, really? Fuck, she's moved up more.
She's moved up. She's queen of the world now.
Oh,
or
good.
was it diphtheria? That sounds like diarrhea. So why should I want to be vaccinated for that? Shit talker, the human thumb, Tommy Barnett.
It's gotta be Queen Didge.
Well, John Charles,
Yes.
you've won the jet ski. And you'll be able to go and rescue people that only the ones you like.
Only the ones you
not
like.
the ones that, and or the ones you like and/or the ones you can make a quid out of.
Yes, or politically agree with. That is my main thing. I'm just going to say, what is your stance on privatising ports?
Did you vote for Scott Morrison?
Do you believe in agrarian socialism? And if so, to what degree do you feel like the collective should take control of the means of production?
Off you go if they give the wrong answer.
Get the fuck out of my jet ski, you bloody capitalist pig dog.
Well done, Joel. It's your first win for a long time. Well done. You were ably assisted there by James and doing a bit of cheating yourself. But you've done it. You've got 3 from 3. It's the first time in months.
Yeah, it's been so long. It's been so long. I feel like I should be celebrating more, but I'm just going to have another beer.
We fired you. We sacked you. We dismissed you as what? As garbage, because that's all you are. You're a criminal. You're a traitor. And you're going to the biggest barbecue in history. So from Christmas dinner to you are the dinner.
Thank you. That's what I'll go with.
All hail Queen Romana Didulo. And every time I say that, Joel, I feel like saying dildo.
Yeah.
Should I just replace her name with dildo? Romana Dildo.
I like saying Didulo. I don't know, but that's my Australian.
Didulo.
Didge.
Dildo.
Ditch
Anyway,
dildo.
She's not just Queen of Canada. She's now the Queen of the world.
About time.
I missed the coronation, but it's happened. And not before time, Joel. That's right.
Our budget would have been huge.
Man, she's doing lots of helping now that she's Queen of the world. She's helping by travelling around Canada in a crowd-funded Winnebago, spreading good news. And not all good news. It turns out she is a bit of a vengeful queen from time to time, calling for hangings from military helicopters. Exotic hangings.
It's very expensive.
Not just asphyxiation by rope, but with the hangee being held over an active volcano or dropped into a commercial crocodile farm.
Is the commercial crocodile farm thing a joke that you made up, or is that actually what she said?
That's what she actually recommended.
Fuck me. That is
great. It's better. It's much more colourful and quite imaginative compared to boring old Ricky Bozzy who wants to just lynch people. She wants to take them out. At least it gets them out in the fresh air.
Yes. They see something cool before they die.
To an active volcano or dropped into a commercial crocodile farm. She made the point of saying it has to be commercial. You can't just have, a crocodile farm that doesn't make money.
If it's a cooperative, it's no good.
That's right.
If I would save that crocodile farm on a jet ski, it's no good. But if I throw it back in the lake.
For those who don't know, Her Majesty Romana Dildo is a conspiracy influencer based in Victoria, British Columbia. Beautiful part of the world, by the way. It's a pity she soils it. And she has proclaimed herself in the past, Queen of Canada,
Yes, she has.
Commander-in-Chief, Head of State and Government, and President and National Indigenous Chief of the Kingdom of Canada.
She absolutely loves titles. That is one thing that I know about Romana. She loves titles.
She's not Indigenous. She's from, and that's, I think, people make the mistake. She's from the Philippines.
Yeah, and she
originally.
does look a bit Inuit, and
She
that
does,
kind
yeah.
of gets her
She
away
does.
with it.
It sort of caught me a few times a while back, but yeah, she ain't. And that's what I thought, I'm going a bit easy. But nope, we're not going to go easy today.
No.
Romana, the first main audience of anti-vaxxers, QAnon cultists, and SovCits, our friends.
Yeah, it's a
Sovereign
trifecta.
citizen freedom on the land movement.
Yes.
And she tells them she has supernatural abilities.
Yep.
She claims she can become invisible by cloaking herself.
Okay.
This power is not unusual for beings of her race.
Oh, okay.
Because she's not of this earth. She is a member of a highly advanced alien race, an Arcturian, an alien being with special celestial powers.
For a second, I thought Filipinos were just able to cloak, which I thought was great.
I think the cloaking might have come directly from the set of Harry Potter, Joel, because that's where I last saw it. Anyway, Her Majesty's speeches are filled with fantastical stories, including how she became the reigning monarch of Canada. She claims the Chinese military had clandestinely invaded secret underground tunnels that crisscross Canada.
Of course.
With great difficulty, she commanded her forces and cleared the tunnels of the Chinese communists.
Okay.
Damn you, China!
We would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that ambiguously racial Queen of Canada.
Yeah. She also claims to have access to the billions of dollars stored at the Vatican. Can just pop in there and just say, give us a couple of bill.
Just
Give us
for
a couple
reasons.
of bill right now. I got a wheelbarrow, fill it up.
Yeah. Just yeah. Cool.
She claims to be a shapeshifter who can assume any physical appearance she chooses, which would be handy. Be hellishly handy. The US Commander-in-Chief, she says, has assigned Her Majesty to end the war in Ukraine by acting as the mediator between the United States and Russia. She claimed recently that Russian President Vladimir Putin, a close friend, had personally gifted her an autographed watch.
He signed the watch?
Yeah, how do you sign a watch?
But then you got
to really script that
It's like when they write on the thing of rice. It's just a tiny little That's so fucking dumb.
Anyway, so look, the good news is peace on earth.
Oh, that's good.
You know? Goodwill to all, man. And what harm could a mentally ill old Sheila do?
This is a precursor to something bad, isn't it? It is, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it is quite a lot of harm. Because most recently she has decreed, and Queens do that, Joel, they don't just say stuff, they issue decrees. Her Majesty Romana I has decreed that in Canada, all utilities are free, taxes are optional.
Oh, I'll opt in, please.
And all debts have been wiped clean.
Oh, that's pretty good. This is Nasara Gassara on steroids.
She wrote on one of our group's Telegram channels, the more who do it, the quicker we can be free of enslavement. Those still living in fear are making it hard to get out. Don't be afraid, because we're in this together.
Are we, though?
In response, some followers have stopped paying their bills, have had their utilities shut off and lost their homes. Everything is free, though. Hooray!
Yeah.
Well, overall, Joel, and this might come as a bit of a surprise to you and our listeners, things have not gone all that well since that decree. Not for her followers who listen to her anyway. A few Telegram messages show one or two problems arising from the everything is free, a gift from the Queen of the World, Romana.
Mm-hmm.
And here's some of her followers saying, Dear Queen Romana, when will the service companies stop shutting off our services for non-payment? I just had my water supply shut off today in Stratford, Ontario.
That's very sad.
It's summer in Canada, and they're having a bit of a hot one too. Here's another one. Queen Romana, please, what do I say to the city of Red Deer trying to shut off my water on Monday?
Oh.
Don't the water companies, banks, electricity companies, etc. know who they're dealing with, Joel?
Are they going to get shot or hung from a helicopter? I mean...
Here's another one, Joel. I stopped paying my power and hydro bills when directed by QR, Queen Romana, and last month they shut off my utilities. I've been without power during some of the hottest days I've ever felt.
Oh my God.
To add to the stress, my oldest cat passed away yesterday, and I suspect it was due to the heat.
Oh my God.
I don't know what more to do. I can't keep waiting. I need power. I've been charging my phone and using the Wi-Fi at the nearby McDonald's in the meantime.
Jesus.
I know.
She killed a
Romana.
cat.
Queen
Motherfucker.
Romana. Queen Romana, I'm just going to come out and say, you killed this woman's cat.
You're a piece of shit.
But Joel, don't the water companies, banks, electricity companies, etc. know who they're dealing with?
No.
Don't they know that with a flourish of her left hand, Her Majesty can make anyone's creditors disappear? But she can't right now because she's negotiating with Vladimir Putin. It's not as if the man can just turn up and arrest her. She can shapeshift or throw on an invisibility cloak, which she probably got from the set of Harry Potter, and disappear. You know,
If she's lucky.
just throws that cloak on and goes, "Where's she gone? Where's she gone?"
That's what you do with children. They throw a cloak on and you go, oh my God, where'd she go? Where'd she go? And the kid's like, haha, I'm invisible. And you're like, oh my God, the invisibility, it's profound. Like,
It's
this is
just
child stuff.
It's just like the Queen of the World can't get no respect.
No, it's not
Pop
fair.
her up on a throne and I'll stop paying my power bills right now. If you need me, I'll be living in a Winnebago without power. Down by the river.
Very good.
I still haven't worked it out yet. And if you haven't worked it out, keep asking the question. And keep looking for the answers. Because it's irrelevant.
Stuart Gordon Peters was born in 1980 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. His parents later divorced and his mother moved to Minnesota, where he would call home while periodically visiting his father in Wisconsin as a teenager.
He's married with 3 kids, and he spent about 20 years as a bounty hunter chasing people on bail. You know, like Dylan Didge Wilson, for example.
Oh, yeah, he'd grab Didge, wouldn't he?
Oh, he'd
hunt
knock
him
on.
down.
Just go to court. Just go to fucking court.
Go to court, Didge.
What's
Come
wrong
on,
with
man.
you? Just go to court. His true passion was in his rap career. And career was a bit of a stretch, but in the true Stu Peters way, we're just going to call that in a mix of optimism and dishonesty and hope that somehow, makes it true.
He's led an interesting life, Stu Peters, but he has desperately tried to make sure it was interesting. And that included a lot of bullshitting, whether it's impersonating a police officer to catch a crook, lying about your credentials to open doors, or just delusions of grandeur about your talent. Stu has done it all to amplify himself to being larger than life. He really is the American dream in action. A fucking phony who will do anything for attention.
Oh yeah, complete phony. It makes so much sense that a person like him would wind up being a talking head in the conspiracy universe. It's a perfect fit. And while Peters is considered generally to be a slightly more reasonable and coherent version of Alex Jones, he is easily even funnier than the big man himself and fucking way more cooked.
Yeah, it's not a good benchmark though, is it? You know, it's a little bit better than Alex Jones. Just a little bit better than Alex Jones.
When you're being compared to Alex Jones, something has gone wrong and you need to reevaluate your shit.
Yeah.
Because like Alex Jones is considered incoherent due to his emotional style of presenting. You know, the yelling, the absurd claims, the more yelling, the gay frogs. What Jones does is this sort of theatre of the absurd. But what Peters does is intentionally spread disinformation for the sake of a career. It's very intentional. Peters pushes some incredibly stupid theories. The snake venom in the water thing, that was actually him. He platforms some of the most bizarre theorists and does it with this completely straight face. And we're going to come back to this a lot because this is everything about Stu Peters. He's completely straight face. And this just gives him just enough credibility for idiots to see him as a source of news, not the sort of sensationalist con man that he is. He doesn't scream like Jones does. He doesn't make theatre. He nods, he shakes his head, expresses this kind of astonishment for things that are complete horseshit, but it's catnip for idiots. So let's have a little look at the 20 years before he came, as Soz would say, Alex Jones from Wish, because that's exactly what he is. And Peters, like most conspiracy content makers, has a history of being a show pony. Wikipedia claims that he initially thought he would become a police officer or an entertainer, and he almost became both.
It reminds me a little of our man down in Melbourne, Nathan Glover, the concreter and entertainer. Does Stu have any sort of background in concreting?
No, but they are both trying entertainers.
Concreter, cabaret entertainer.
I love the concreter entertainer line. That was one of the best.
Where is the glove? I suppose he's doing a bit of time, isn't he?
I don't think he's doing. I think he's probably pulled his fucking head in, to be fair. One of many influences in the conspiracy movement that decided, you know what? maybe this isn't worth it. Stewart took classes in law enforcement, whatever the fuck that even means, and then got into bounty hunting after meeting someone in the business. I mean, that's what Wikipedia says, and I looked, it was in an article. He then, of course, used this to make content in an attempt to become a reality TV star, posting footage of arrests on YouTube, you know, finding fugitives, throwing them on the ground, calling them dirtbags. His channel has, though, since been suspended for violating community guidelines. So it's not just disinformation that gets him done, being a fucking asshole bounty hunter that shamelessly posts people regardless of privacy. Well, yeah, that's not good. So Peters, he's almost a police officer. He's almost an entertainer.
Yep.
But credit where credit's due. It looks like people actually paid to watch him rap, or at least MC events.
Wow. Enter Focus.
That was his rap name.
Fuck up. Fokis.
That's it.
Focus, I guess.
Focus. It's like, and this is like, you know, basically this is him talking about himself in the third person in a press release on this Minnesota nightclub website that he did MC work for.
Where others bristle at the term rapper Focus, Stuart Peters to his family,
and you,
has based his worldview around embracing his inner weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
The MC has channeled a lifetime's worth of social observation, personal angst, and joyous celebration into Focus on Music, his debut album that shows an artist unafraid to take chances and welcome risk.
Yeah, okay.
It's this combination of confidence and individuality that's allowed Focus to endure and thrive where others have failed.
Yes, but he failed.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember anyone sort of running to the record store to buy Focus on Music.
No.
Have you got Focus in music in stock, mate?
No, it's not great. So, yeah.
He failed. So he failed.
He did fail.
As a teenager, shuttling between his mother's house near Minneapolis and his father's place in Wisconsin, the fledgling artist would constantly write in his journal while listening to rap heroes such as Biggie, Redman, and Outkast.
Yeah, this has that whole sort of like Eminem sort of vibe where it's like, oh, I'm just like an aspiring rapper writing in my notebook. I mean, shut the fuck up.
Which is just, it actually just means you're a dead shit, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And Focus also had a Twitter account, and this is his first tweet that he did on December 23rd, 2010.
Drumroll. Focus is officially on Twitter. Woohoo!
Hey.
Details of the big show coming up today or tomorrow. Contracts being signed now. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Stay tuned.
That's what I was thinking as well. I'm so glad you picked up on that. I'm like, what? No, they're not. So here's the second one from the next day.
Just paid, P-A-Y-E-D, idiot, $111 to please myself in a cup at University of Minnesota Hospital. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
And then his next one.
It's TMI, really, isn't it? Waiting for sandwich delivery. That's just people will just be leaping on your timeline just to grab hold of some of that gear.
Well, you see, unfortunately, no, because it took him 18 months and about 200 tweets to get even a reaction.
Sandwich delivery, and he's just masturbated into a cup.
I mean, look, no one cares. Not even a like, not even a retweet. It's actually weird how little traction he got.
It's not.
But like nothing at all. Like maybe there's like an old issue with Twitter, but like you scroll up and it takes so long to get to the point where one person just retweeted him. Didn't even like it. Just retweeted him.
Yeah. Have a look at this idiot.
Bizarre. But like it's mostly just bullshit hustle posting, vague motivational platitudes alongside mostly ignored song releases. But he does affirm his love for God in this tweet here.
It's a great, and that great is capitalized, morning to celebrate your relationship with #God.
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? And
not just God. #God.
But his relationship with God is actually a little bit ambiguous. Until he gets to this whole Alex Jones and Wish phase, he's not necessarily on board with the old JC and the Bible. And this is something that's actually brought up in the song Red Pill, where he sort of plants the seeds of the future. Because, red pill, blue pill, red pill. It's a very Limp Bizkit track. Let's listen to a little bit of clip of it because, I mean...
Not too much.
Not much, no.
I said, give me that red pill, corner shit. Real still, listen up, I am so in a fit. I am deep in a rabbit hole, yo, and it's sick. This is real life shit, I ain't showing a flick. I ain't dressing up like you and going to work. I am deep in Wonderland, going berserk. I am in the real world, no jacket and ties, no editorials, no government lies. A girl in a red dress giving me fits. Take them tragedy to build towers called freedom, and the Bible is man-made, but the writers won't read them. Mothers will have kids and fathers won't feed them. At the same time, you give me applause, don't read them. Supposed to be real, but it's man-made. It's carbonated wine, but you tell me it's champagne. I'm told it's a tomb.
So he claims in this that the Bible was man-made, and then something about it's carbonated wine, but you told me it's champagne.
Fresh wine. Carbonate that wine.
What? Like that? There's not a thing. Sparkling wine, Stuart.
Yeah, it's not carbonated.
No, it's not. You don't put it through like a fucking post-mix, idiot. Fuck. So he doesn't want no government lies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not built for the 9 to 5.
No.
He won't live in a matrix, something rabbit hole. It's that sort of like, oh, I'm a philosopher. I'm 12 years old. I've got an internet connection.
It is 12-year-old philosophy.
He's a fucking moron. But it ends with, give me that red pill. All right, cool. Well, I mean, I guess you took it because now you think that fucking alligators speak to you or whatever the fuck you said.
If only it was cyanide. Anyway.
Oh, if only. So, while rap metal is a trash genre, I fucking hate Limp Bizkit. This isn't that bad by that measure. But it looks like Peters was at least slightly pilled before it was cool. When I was pilled, in the good old days. Because this song was posted 10 years ago when I was thoroughly pilled. And while Focus was never a success as such, he wasn't a complete failure either. And despite his prophetic song, I Never Made It, which insisted that he would be a failure in the end, and, well, bang on the money there, Stewie, he also went through to the second round in the Rockzilla magazine's Battle of the Bands. I mean, that's all right, I guess. He didn't get knocked out in the first one.
Yeah, it's not. You're not taking it straight to the pool room, though, are you, really?
No, not really. He's not going to go on America's Got Talent.
Battle of the rounds. I made it to the Battle of the Bands. I made it to the second round. It's not. Well, it's not a life achievement.
To be fair, he did write a whole bunch of press releases on it and really flaunted it. It was like a massive achievement for him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the thing with him, so he raps about money. Rappers love money, blah, blah, blah. But it might not be entirely wrong because the thing is, his bounty hunting business and the bail bonds business appeared to be doing quite well. And Stu's bail bonds, that was his bail bonds business, was sponsoring the prestigious Minnesota local radio station KDWB-FM's Booty Cruise 2013, which featured stars of the station Dave Ryan and Gary Spivey. I don't know who the fuck they are. Whoa. And also, and this is actually in the sentence on the event thing, the staff from Stu's bail bonds. So they're apparently equal footing on the headliners of the show.
Booty Cruise 2013.
I mean, but look, when you think about it, it's like, I saw that as being like a draw card thing. Like, okay, so you've got these radio stars, local radio guys, people want to meet them, but then Stu's bail bonds, why would you want to meet them? And then I realized who would actually be going to the event, and I'm like, oh, you guys have a future together because it's a bail bonds organization, and you're a bunch of insane low-rent individuals. So the cruise also featured male exotic dancers. So that's the booty part.
Oh, okay.
So this is a booze cruise full of horny drunk women, male strippers, and the staff of Stu's bail bonds. What could possibly go wrong?
Trying to pick up there.
I fucking love this guy. So whether Focus is dead or not is yet to be seen. I mean, he hasn't deleted the Twitter and SoundCloud accounts. There's still content up there. And these days, with his heightened profile, people might actually show up to shows. But that being said, the ultra-far-right conspiracy universe these days, the Trumpian MAGA types, are not well known for their enjoyment of rap music. Because it's a little bit, urban.
Well, yes and no. I do remember seeing a clip, Joel, where at Mar-a-Lago, Vanilla Ice played.
Ooh.
And the dance floor was jumping.
Okay.
With just rich,
maybe I'm wrong.
White trumpers bouncing around the floor while Vanilla Ice played for probably about $500 in tips.
All their cocaine baggies are popping out of their fucking Cheeto pockets.
Yeah, all of that. So it's not about just rap. It's kind of, I think you got that right. It is a little bit urban for the most part. And there's no decent white rapper with the exception of Eminem. That's what we know.
And you need to also have vanilla in the title of your name to make sure that everyone knows that you're not being too urban.
That's right. Yeah, you are.
And what I'm trying to say here is that the right wing are racist. Pick up on it.
Yeah, that's right. So they're not having Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's not playing. No.
Yeah, exactly. Just in case it was too subtle for you when I said the word urban over and over again in a winky tone of voice. So Stewie's relationship with the truth has been strained for some time. In 2000, he auditioned for a film directed by Tyrell Ventura, who is the son of then Minnesota Governor Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mate, the former wrestler who cracked into politics with some very
He
wacky
won
beliefs.
gubernatorial election in Minnesota. He was a bit of a He was a bit of a sort of pre-Trump Trumper.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, he was a pre-Trump Trumper, but he was also like a bit of like a 9/11 truther, a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but in a kind of way that appealed to me because it was more of that, like, you know, looking for the truth, the fucking military-industrial complex of evil, blah, 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 as opposed to this, which is basically like, rich people are great. Make America great again. Fucking morons. But this is the thing. Like, you know, like when I saw Jesse Ventura, it reminded me, I used to kind of, you know, I used to check this guy's shit out.
Oh, I loved his I did enjoy his wrestling stick. I mean, he wasn't a great governor, it must be said. But we're talking about the Midwest, and this is the same place where Peters has come from. And so we tend to have this quite conservative kind of family value stuff running through the place.
Yeah.
And, you know, truth, honesty, and just hard work will get you there, which is kind of all collapsed because, you know, large tracts of the Midwest are now sort of, you know, rust belts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, for me, I just like the fact that he thought that 9/11 was an inside job, and, well, so did I. So that was good.
Yeah. It's not something to be, you know, all that proud of, Joel. Yeah, Peters landed a lead role in the film and, wanting to impress Ventura, that's Tyrrell, lied about his connections in Hollywood, which he didn't have. He just didn't have it. He lied that he had them. Yeah. And claimed his brother was a teen heartthrob who starred in a popular 1990s sitcom, which is actually an incredibly weird flex. It's a complicated lie to tell, isn't it?
What is it? What does it even mean? Oh, my brother was in a sitcom.
1990s sitcom, but he would have named it and said, look.
Teenagers thought he was hot.
That's him and you go, that guy? Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
And of course it's not.
He's got a stage name.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Tyrrell believed that Peters had flown in from Los Angeles when he is, in fact, from Minnesota himself. And
which means he had somewhere to stay.
Yeah, and Tyrrell invited him to stay at the governor's residence during filming. Ooh, nice gigs. He lived in a guest room for several weeks until the state troopers that provided security for the governor realised he was an imposter and evicted him. Oh, poor Stu.
Aww. And Peters has some conflicting feelings about the incident. He told the Star Tribune in February 2019 that it was a mistake because I lied and that's not the person I am.
Yeah,
but it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. But in 2002, he told the Star Tribune, the same publication, it was a wonderful experience. If you sneak your way in there, I would recommend it. They had great food. It happened. I would do it again. So, you know, which one is it? Stewie. But Ventura's son, Tyrell, he simply said, he conned me. What can I say? Poor bastard. I mean, look, what can you do?
He also, apparently on a dare, convinced some local TV stations that he had been signed by the NHL, the National Hockey League. That's ice hockey to Australians as a free agent. You know, normal stuff where you lie to get attention.
Just lies. And Peters was also in the habit of impersonating police officers, which wasn't actually illegal in Minnesota until Peters was mistaken for a cop, or at least publicly recorded as such. And he's out there wearing tactical gear. He's brandishing these badges. Like, what the fuck? You don't need a badge to be a bounty hunter. He must have them made up. Like, what did he give Teresa Van Leash out a fucking call? And he's driving in these police-style cars. And this basically saw him just walking straight into convenience stores to get surveillance footage to find people, other restricted information, because people just thought he was a cop.
Yeah.
He didn't say he was a cop, but he looked like a cop. And he looks like a cop out of the womb.
That's enough to impersonate a public officer. I can't believe in Minnesota this was legal.
It totally was. In Florida, he actually got done for it. And I think he just didn't realize that the laws were different there. Oh my God, federalism. Tell me more about these different states.
Yeah, I knew he got done for it. Later in 2015, because of Peters' conduct, the state of Minnesota made this a misdemeanor.
Yep.
The police were concerned that people were mistaking him for a police officer, with the county sheriff, Scott McNerlin, saying of Peters, anybody would think this guy's a cop. He's very much crowding or blurring the line with impersonating. McNerlin said his concerns came from watching Stu's videos on YouTube.
Once again, making evidence. Like, these people film themselves doing things that are so clearly wrong, and it just ends up being evidence against them.
Hey, everybody on YouTube, watch me commit a felony.
It's very funny. And like I said, look, if you look at his videos, and most of them deleted, but some of them still remain on other channels, you can find them. He has got this full-on cop vest with this comically large badge. And like I say, it's probably something he got from Teresa Van Lisha because, I mean, this is not a cop badge, but it looks like a cop badge.
Those two belong together, don't they?
Don't they just? Don't they fucking just? Oh, God, don't wish that because it will come true. So Peters was annoyed by the passing of the law, which is widely attributed to him personally saying this.
If the concern is that the everyday Joe is going to mistake one of our squad cars as a law enforcement vehicle, my question is, so what? In today's climate of law enforcement, there are two sides: the good guys and the bad guys. We're the good guys.
Yeah,
no, you're not, Stu.
Yeah,
you're a fucking crook.
Yeah, you're an absolute crook. I mean, like, it's just disgusting. And like, one of the things, as a bit of a side note, is that when you're in law school, you go through all these cases. You've got these tort and criminal cases where it's someone versus the Crown or someone versus each other, and you always think, "Fuck, I would hate to be that guy who's being taught in law school as being the fuckwit who got busted by the cops and then made a dick of himself in the courtroom." And this is exactly this. Stu Peters is this total show pony who managed to change laws by being such a fuckwit. I think that's really funny. But look, the good guys versus bad guys idea, this is something you guys have heard a million times before. It gets played out very properly in the latest stuff as a conspiracy theorist because it's always a good versus evil bullshit. It's a staple of QAnon people. Saving the kids from Hillary Clinton because kids are so pure and wonderful and Hillary Clinton's evil and her face is removable and she's a reptile. But this is the thing. Truth doesn't really matter as long as you're on side of the righteous. Good versus evil. Truth? Nah. Casualty of war.
Nah.
So while Peter spent most of his time chasing fugitives as a bounty hunter, he's also had some seriously disturbing brushes with the law.
Yes, and I want to thank again, I think it was Boutique Conspiracy Theorist. So that's the hashtag for, well, not hashtag, but the
Twitter handle.
Twitter handle for sending me some photos of Stu from his mugshots, after he'd been arrested by actual police.
Yes, when he was pissed as fuck.
Here's an excerpt from a Daily Beast article by Will Summer that describes a domestic violence incident between Peters and his wife. Around 1 a.m. on February 19, 2021, Peters' wife called the police in Red Wing, Minnesota, claiming Peters was in a drunken rage after getting home from his bowling league. In an angry scramble to find his phone, according to an account from Peters' wife, recorded in a police report, he had allegedly started to berate her and throw in household items, including boots and pillows, at her. He's drunk and confused. Arriving on the scene, police officers found Peters, who appeared to be intoxicated. Mm-hmm. His wife showed officers video she had recorded of her husband yelling at her and throwing objects at her, according to the report.
Oh, it sounds like Avi Yemeni.
Asked whether she was concerned Peters would attack her, she said, "That's the reason that I had to call you guys," and nodded yes, according to the report.
Jesus.
His wife told officers that her husband regularly became belligerently drunk, saying incidents like the one that night were, in the words of one officer on the scene, happening too frequently. Mm-hmm. According to the report, his wife said she would normally lay low and wait until Peters passed out, saying she was afraid to call the police.
Jesus.
She told police that on a recent trip to Florida, Peters had grown furious because he couldn't find his wallet, taking her own wallet and identification and making her feel trapped. "I don't know what he's capable of doing when he's drinking," she said, according to the report.
So this is a perfect person to charge with the responsibility of hunting down criminals and issuing bail bonds.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. A drunken wife abuser, domestic violence abuser.
I believe they call it fit and proper person, Jack.
Yeah.
That's the proper terminology for that.
But you can see this, drunk, can't find things, goes nuts.
Yeah, and just violently fucking lashes out at anyone around him, including his loved ones. Good. So let's start off with Peter's career as a bounty hunter. It was with the Twin Cities Apprehension Team. It's a great acronym, TCAT. I mean, that works, right? He also worked as a dog handler, and I hate to think what those dogs were doing. Basically just saying, sick 'em Rex, and having some fucking German Shepherd eating the ass out of some poor meth head.
Maybe it was Dog the Bounty Hunter, Joel.
Yes. Well, that actually comes up in a lot of his references to reality TV as to who he wishes he was, because he is a reality TV wannabe who filmed a lot of these interactions, trying to get famous.
Based on the dog show.
Failing miserably, because he's a fucking idiot. In Minnesota, bounty hunters are largely and unsurprisingly unregulated. I mean, to a degree that is fucking chilling. So he also later opened Stu's bail bonds, and this is great, I love this, but he made the company name that it traded under Focus LLC.
Limited Liability Corporation.
I just think it's gorgeous. He hasn't quite given up on the rap dream. He's still Focus. He's still Focus.
He's still focused.
For all intents and purposes, Stewie's career as a bounty hunter was effective and successful. I mean, the guy was actually good at it. He had around 6 people working for him at, sort of various points. He had a success rate that's pretty close to 100%. He said 100%. I'm going to say close to 100% because I don't fucking believe him. On face value, it seems that one of the reasons Stew was so effective is because, and this is the superpower, being able to lie with a straight face. He was clearly impersonating police and quite likely completely bullshitting people to get information out of them. But this gets results, and getting results is actually what really matters, especially in right-wing America. I mean, you're only as good as the fucking, the notches you get on the wall. Like, I mean, that's how this country works. So Tika had a Twitter account, or has a Twitter account, that goes from pushing his business as a bounty hunter toward pushing his profile as this talking head later in the piece. The tweets about Stu in the third person, which I really get off on because you absolutely know he wrote them. Buying in this sort of hype of this, spreading the word to 1,100 followers because any way you can market yourself is profound. But it's mostly, when it goes backwards, before his whole tilt toward being a talking head, generic back the blue stuff, with posts celebrating capture of a fugitive as a bit of a business thing. Someone bought a cop at lunch and he posted it. Who gives a fuck? But most tweets were lucky to get a like. The business itself, though, to be fair, was successful. They did what they said they'd do on the box, which is capture criminals on the run from court dates. He would, as we said before, he would catch Ditch Wilson in about 8 fucking hours. I mean, he's a con man, he's a liar, but he is effective.
Bounty hunting is a dangerous game, though, and on May 30, 2017, a pair of bounty hunters enlisted by TCAT to catch a fugitive across state lines were involved in a fatal shootout which left the 2 agents and the fugitive dead.
Yeah, Raymond Hutchinson was wanted after missing a court date for a DUI arrest, assault police, and cocaine possession.
It's minor league stuff for now all 3 are dead. But anyway.
It's not big stuff, and that was what was quite striking about this story, because TCAT used a tracking device on his girlfriend's car to find him because they figured that she'd go to him. And they turned up in a car yard in Texas. So what happened was they approached these Texas bounty hunters, Gabriel Bernal and Fidel Garcia Jr., who then went to the car yard for a confrontation. On approach, Hutchinson pulled out a gun and just straight up opened fire on them. Now, I don't know how this played out, but he killed them both and he got himself killed in the process. It would have been Hollywood level shit. No one else was injured, thank Christ, because I mean, this was in public. So Peters continued his role as head of TCAT, operating Stu's bail bonds on the side, but the incident made the news and it dented Peters' reputation as being effective and cast this shadow of recklessness over his operations. And I've seen a lot of comments in public saying that this is the right reputation for him. He's a reckless person who can't follow the rules, and he's basically that asshole maverick in Top Gun who no one should respect or like or idolize. He was the bad guy. Iceman was the good guy. I maintain that until this day. And that's enough about the wannabe cop and YouTuber phase, because this is when Stu enters the thing you've all been waiting for, the cooked conspiracy theorist phase.
Yeah, that was the trigger. 3 people had to die.
Yeah, that's the one.
He interned at Clear Channel Radio in 1998 at radio station KDWB,
That's right,
of Rudy Cruz fame, in his hometown of Minnesota, but focused on his rapping career instead of pivoting toward radio. Bad choice.
He had faith in himself, and he still has faith now. He eventually moved into the radio space, starting with Patriotically Correct, a fairly generic right-wing radio show that he co-hosted with fellow bounty hunter Richard Leonard. He was a war vet, blah, blah, blah. This started in August 2020. The episodes are the usual back the blue bullshit, with less about the sort of vaccine nanobots and the sensationalist nonsense, and more about the Bible, championing police brutality, and smoking meats.
Oh, yeah, this would have gone over well. He did this until around 2020, where he found his true calling as a full-blown bullshit artist and disinformation pundit. Smoking meats and whinging about criminals on welfare is dime a dozen shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Doing that, he would make conditional release program Patreon level money. Fuck that. He had to move on to the good stuff, proper fringe conspiracy content. Those people will buy anything. And they did.
That's the thing. You guys don't buy fucking anything. I'm going to try and sell you supplements. You'll be all like, oh, you're trying to grift me. Whinge. So, of course, with the ultra right-wing conspiracy crowd, he had to ham up the God stuff and play down the rap thing. Like I said, a bit too urban.
Yeah. The rap
But I
thing
mean-
was never going to fly.
But this fucking dude sponsored a booty cruise as a bail bondsman. That is so sleazy. And now he's like pretending to be this full-blown fundamentalist Christian. But it's like all those fucking fundy Christians. I mean, like the Gemstones on HBO. They're all fucking loudmouth scammers.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Just like anything he does it so perfectly because he has that deadpan, completely straight face. It just sells everything because people don't see past it. The bullshit detectors get broken. So he's disowned his rap career, and when it's brought up by detractors that say his lyrics are dirty and unchristian-like, he claims that this was all before he knew Christ. And this little clip here we're going to play slightly contradicts that claim.
Second of all, I wasn't a wannabe rapper. I was a rapper with a record deal. And I'm proud of the music that I made.
But it's a bit like the stay at the governor's mansion. His answer to any given question will depend on who he's asking and what he stands to benefit at the time. And this is the thing. Stu Power's superpower is that he is absolutely shameless. And this is why him and Maria Z, yes, our homegrown talent, get along so fucking well. Because they are both prepared to say the wackiest shit with a straight face, despite her eyebrows, to people who are so overstimulated by conspiracy content that graphene oxide in the vaccine, it's boring now. Now it needs to be self-assembling living organisms made of aluminium, carbon, and bromine in the jab.
Yeah, graphene oxide just not nearly lethal enough.
Boring. What does that even mean? It sounds like a pencil. I mean, like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's an actual theory that was floated by absolute cooked unit and recent plane injury survivor Carrie Majay, who on the Stu Peters show basically laid out this insane plan while he sat there and went, "Oh, that's terrible.
That sounds awful."
Even Alex Jones wouldn't go that far. This is the thing. He goes into that paradigm of shamelessness that even the most shameless won't. Stu gives the punters what they want, and that's why he's so successful. He pushed the idea of people becoming magnetized by being near vaccinated people, just around vaccinated people. You probably remember this from a while ago. It was a bit of a passing fad. It came and it went. He sits there with his trademark straight face while this dude in this clip tries to stick coins to himself, which fall off in seconds. It's fucking hilarious. The dude's sitting there putting coins on himself, staring at the camera, and they just drop off his head. And Stu is there just staring right at him.
Wow.
And his reaction is gold. Remember, the coins fall off this guy's face almost instantly as he tries to stick them to himself. And then Stu goes on to be stunned. Stunned by fucking what? Coins dropping off some old guy's face?
Gravity.
Here's the clip. It's fucking embarrassing.
Scott has been surrounded by vaccinated family members, and he says that he's noticed an odd development. His body has become magnetic. He sent us photos of his body covered with coins and scissors and magnets and things of all different types of metal, and Scott Taylor joins us now alongside of his wife. Before being around people who had been injected with this so-called vaccine, you, of course, were not magnetic.
No.
And now you're able to
Not
stick...
that I know of. I assume I wasn't. I never tried it, but I doubt it very much.
Yeah, and I don't know any reason why anybody would try that, but we're seeing this phenomenon all over the place. It's being discounted as a conspiracy theory. Do you have, I mean, I know this sounds really weird, but do you have anything there that you can stick to yourself now? There's going to be a lot of people who say, well, that's just not true. We've seen this, and it's been discounted as weird conspiracy lies discredited by the media. Clearly, this is absolutely going on. This is the first time that I've actually seen it live in front of me like this. And so I guess I'm a little bit taken aback, and I'm really sorry. I mean, it's got to be very concerning and very difficult to deal with.
And they're American coins. They're not fucking magnetic anyway. They are just and only barely sticking to this guy's greasy face. And Peter's acting shocked. It's just bizarre. The coins fall off and he can see that, but he just lies straight through it. Yeah. And this is his superpower.
Well, it's his other superpower. Lying and shameless.
Oh yeah, and also rapping. But his lies are so fucking bold that it just distorts reality. I mean, like, you sort of watch this guy and you're like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Maybe I didn't just watch that.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. It's like Rukshin when he goes to a protest, like, these are innocent, peaceful protesters, and the police are being violent. You see these, like, protesters like throwing bottles at cops. You're like, they are being victimized unfairly, and this makes no sense. Okay, thanks, Ruction. So Peters mostly lives on places like Rumble and Gab, where free speech absolutism goes about as far as it gets. But his show was removed by Spotify, and iHeartRadio removed Patriotically Correct due to their disinformation policies. And his response was great. It was predictably reasonable. He said this to the Daily Beast.
iHeartRadio and Spotify have now shown the world, without shame, that they are the propaganda arm of the communist, globalist, genocidal machine, hell-bent on the destruction of freedom, Christianity, and truth.
Just such a martyr. Like, climb down off the cross, man. Calm your fucking tits. Fucking just mental. This guy thinks he's actually a hero. And, I mean, every idiot's a hero in their own story. We've previously covered the Peters-produced documentary Watch the Water, in which a former chiropractor turned supplement salesman, Brian Ardis, convinces the audience that there is a synthetic version of snake venom in the water supply, which is being used to turn people into, and this is a quote, a hybrid of Satan. Now, this is this kind of shameless shit that no one else would touch. He's all over it. It's a very similar Plandemic style thing where it's an interview between Ardis and Peters, but less about his dreamy eyes. If you've seen Plandemic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And while Plandemic made some wild claims, this is next level shit. It is so absurd that it even managed to divide the conspiracy community because it was just so fucking implausible. But Stewart is not trying to appeal to people with common sense and vague abilities to think critically. He wants the impressionable idiots, the ones who don't ask questions, the walking wallets. And he's getting a decent fucking chunk of that, at this point, rather large market. I mean, of course, the way, as we found out in the documentary as such, the way to unsatanize yourself from the snake venom is to buy the anti-V supplement kit from Brian Ardis himself, Ardis Labs.
You got to get that.
This is just a compound of some very banal vitamins. I mean, it's certain vitamin C, N-acetyl L-cysteine, which is NAC, whatever, who cares, and zinc. He sells this combination for $120, but you could get it for $15 from basically anywhere else. And people did, because when people started buying the vitamins separately for less money at local drugstores, Stewie had a bit of a tantrum.
This is what he did. For the record, I have zero problem, all in caps, pointing people to artisantidote.com. This guy is targeted for assassination by pharma and went all the way, risking everything for humanity. And based on some commenters, people seem like they'd rather buy from freaking Walgreens or something than him. I seriously can't stand some people.
Yeah,
so
terrible.
You can go and buy the same stuff from Walgreens, right?
Pennies on the pound.
$15.
Yeah.
Or you can go and buy it from Artis Antidote for $120.
Where Stu Peters gets a cut.
And Stu Peters is angry about that. You better believe he's getting.
Don't you tread on my grift, you motherfuckers. So yeah, look, I'm going to say right now, he's not being targeted for assassination by pharma.
No one gets assassinated. No one gets assassinated by big pharma.
It's not happening. But this is the shamelessness. It's just these overpriced vitamins on a false premise, and he's angry at people for not falling for his bullshit. What kind of fucking entitlement complex could you possibly have? So Stu is also moving into the classic QAnon territory with this teaser trailer for a new cheap-ass documentary called The Little Ones. And the synopsis goes like this.
From the network that brought you Watch the Water, we've just been through that, the team is now conducting a deep investigation into the dark underworld of child sex trafficking, satanic blood sacrifice, Pizzagate, adrenochrome, CPS, and Anthony Weiner's laptop.
I love that.
These Little Ones coming soon, exclusively to the Stu Peters network.
Yep.
The video is posted with this pretty clear message with Stu almost trying to sound like a Q drop.
Yeah.
Why did Hillary Clinton say she would sacrifice a chicken to Moloch?
Good question.
Did she do that? I don't know. What's Frazzle Drip? What happened to Pizzagate? What is adrenochrome? Hashtag These Little Ones.
He's just asking questions, but it's exactly the way Q does it. It's so fucking intentional. He's also pivoting toward flat Earth, and this is great. He's trying to capture the hearts and minds of the absolute fucking fringe while not completely alienating his base. You can see in the way that he writes this that he's not trying to go all in. So he's trying to sound reasonable in the process of pivoting toward the most unreasonable stance there is. So here is an excellent post on Flat Earth from his Telegram group. I think it's the first time he even mentioned it.
So here's the deal on the flat Earth question. I'm an inquisitive person. I ask a lot of questions. I'm a passionate person. I speak my mind.
Amen.
I am an alpha male, bit of a drunk wife abuser. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm an investigator. I look for evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And since I have recently been considering this conundrum, flat Earth is a conundrum apparently, I have not seen any evidence to suggest that there's any truth to what NASA or the government has been telling me since birth. There you go. There's your evidence. I don't believe them. I will not be gaslit, you fucking semi-fucking illiterate, you functional illiterate fucking shitbag. I will not be gaslighted into just believing a lie or assuming something is truth just because it's repeated relentlessly. If the globe is round, someone is going to have to prove it to me. He wants a free trip. Just like viruses are real, vaccines are safe, and elections are fair. Oh, he's gone the quadrilla there, hasn't he?
He's going for it. And look, I'm just going to say this as a side note, and this is maybe a shameless plug for the Patreon, but if you enjoy listening to Jack get irrationally angry about small grammatical errors, you need to listen to People's Treaty because it's really funny. He gets very upset, and I almost intentionally now make you read out shit that's got grammatical errors in it just because of how upset you get.
I will not be gaslighted.
That's the best. Oh, the things we get. So the comments here were mixed. There was a lot of people calling him a fucking idiot. But this is the thing. He's probably poking in the wrong direction here because he's appealing to the wrong crowd. Flat Earth, as we've talked about earlier in another episode, it's a hugely anti-Semitic conspiracy theory because they believe it's the Jews that are perpetuating the myth the Earth is round. Yeah. NASA is run by the Jews. So the Nazis believe that Stu Peters is actually Jewish and controlled opposition. They call him Stu the Jew.
Oh, no.
So it's just proof you can't please everyone. I mean, like, especially in these divisive right worlds.
It's really going to cut into his anti-Semitic market there.
Oh, Stewie! So in another shameless attempt to get attention and some kind of victim status, Peters claimed that he was swatted. Now, he wasn't swatted like a fly. This is the practice of calling in a serious crime to the police to make a SWAT team arrive at someone's house.
Ooh.
Cops are fucking idiots. So they often kill the people inside who just have no idea where there's 20 guys out the front with machine guns, and they walk out the front, scratch their nuts, and then get shot by machine guns. There's a whole history of this in the Gamergate scene where one random guy got killed as a result of someone getting swatted because some fucking beef on Call of Duty. And a kid gave a random address.
I remember that, yeah.
Awful. And this is the kind of fucked up 4chan pranks little sociopaths do to one-up each other. But he's bringing this into the world. This is what Stu Peters said about it.
My home was just swatted. My children were home and had to witness everything. The person who made the call impersonated me, gave my home address, and claimed that I had a hostage and was going to shoot them. Let me make something very clear. I will not be intimidated. I have the best lawyers and investigators in the county working to subpoena the Minnesota Police Department for the suspect's information who made the call that resulted in a potentially dangerous police-involved situation. You want to know I'm drawing for breath? You don't use any comments, you fucking that resulted in a potentially dangerous police-involved situation, risking the lives of my kids.
It's that stuff that I give you these quotes for.
From what I understand, this is happening to many conservative show hosts in order to have their homes raided, their privacy violated, and put their lives at risk.
From what he
understands. This is how people get killed, and it ends now. We won't stop until this stops. I am pissed. Well, we already heard that from your wife.
Yes, exactly, yeah. You actually don't know if he's angry or drunk because, I mean, it's two things.
It's probably
commonly,
both. Yeah, it's probably both.
Common traits of yours, Stewie. So apparently conservative radio hosts are under attack from what, Antifa? I mean, fucking come off it. He made all of this up. So I looked...
I'd say so, almost certainly. He
I didn't
should be
spend
charged
forever
with
on
making
this.
a false police report, but anyway.
I checked the episode where he whinges about it. There's no footage. There's no sound. There's nothing. It's just him speaking to camera. I couldn't find anything, even a photo, nothing. But as I said, we discussed Stuart's relationship with the truth earlier. I mean, anything
it's not
for
a good
attention,
relationship.
right?
It's like his first wife. He's gone through a divorce.
I think he's still with her.
With the truth. No, well, I believe she'd moved on. Certainly for a period of time. Yeah.
Is that true? That escaped my research. Well, I have no idea. So Recently, Peters and Maria Z have become buddies. And she's been using the Peters platform, Red Voice Media, to amplify her profile and reach out to the US market in a big way. Maria Z is more than just a set of eyebrows. I'm going to say this right now. She is an absolute hustler and a brilliant liar. She is absolutely, from what I've seen, the female version of Peters. The more I get to know them, the more I can see they're exactly the fucking same. I'm just going to say right now, hopefully minus the rap career, because I think she'd suck.
Yeah.
And hopefully minus the bounty hunting, because I don't think she'd be very nice.
No, we don't do that here. We don't do that sort of thing.
We don't really do it, though. Didge does need to be bounty hunted. But she says the wildest fucking shit with this similarly straight face, with like the exception of the eyebrows going wonky. And like, I mean, earlier in time, she used to struggle a little bit with these more insane interviews. She couldn't really hide the fact that she clearly thought these people were insane. She's good at it now. Oh, she's so much better now. So she was sort of nodding along while, like pretending like oh my God, this is the meaning of life. But her eyebrows said the story. They were always crooking up and down. Like, she didn't really believe them. Maybe it's Botox. Maybe it's media training. But she got there. And now she just stares right down the camera while some absolute fucking crank lunatic talks about how planes are spraying vaccines in the form of chemtrails. And she's like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's bad. Australia's fallen. Oh, this is shit. And this is where she got her thing. She mostly got on board with these completely made-up takes on the tyranny in Australia. Australia has fallen, remember? This was the thing, the hashtag. Monica Smith got behind it. They went, she went on Alex Jones about it. That was in the Tinfoil Tales episode as well. We're going to get to that in a second. But this is what she does. She speaks bullshit with a straight face and capitalizes on trends that Americans want to see play out in the narrative. She's a fucking useful idiot, but she's very good at it. So she's there pushing the whole vaccines and nanobots thing. She started to really push this idea of election fraud theories in Australia with that idiot fucking X1 Nation guy and, Ricardo Bosi and whatnot. And this is the thing. If you can do this with a straight face, that's a talent, because it's not easy to do when you're live on air, when you're live streaming.
Yeah, so pathological lying is a talent.
It actually fucking is. And they both have it down to a fine art. So her studio, if you've seen it, it's clearly a bedroom. It has huge mum's house vibes. But Maria is absolutely killing it. You can't understate this woman. As explained in graphic detail in the Tinfoil Tales episode, God Bless America, while many people in the movement are seeing a mass drop in influence, she's going up and up and up. And she's going further towards these right-wing trope topics.
Yeah, she's broadened her market from 26 million people to 310 million.
Oh, fuck yeah. And, God knows. I mean, America is the world, as they said in Tinfoil Tales. America is the world, and she now has a door into it. She's doing...
Tinfoil Tales, episode 3, Charles. Sorry to interrupt you there, but
God Bless America.
Tinfoil Tales, yes, God Bless America. Give it a listen. It is good stuff.
It is. Listen to it twice. Get the nuance. But the thing is, she's moving toward these abortion and trans issues, these sort of, hot button bullshit. But what she does is she also just platforms abstract theorists. Fucking lunatics, just people who make shit up. And once again, those eyebrows aren't moving anymore. She's fucking into it.
Yeah.
So she's managed to become the host of an event called the Informed Dozen, which is a play on the disinformation dozen that was given to 12 disinformation peddlers by the CCDH, the Center for Containing Digital Hate, because these people are bullshit peddlers. So she's now interviewing anti-vax royalty figure RFK Jr.
She stepped up.
Dude, I mean, love her, hate her. You got to respect that astronomical rise through the ranks. What has she been doing this for a year? And just like Stewie, who's only been doing this for a year and a half, maybe 2, her superpower is her shamelessness. They are the same fucking person.
And the ability to lie without any tell. She's
don't
lost
flinch.
the tell.
Just don't flinch. So she's selling merch, supplements, and she's just following the playbook perfectly. She's going to make a shitload of money. I can't stand her, but I almost respect her.
The moral of the story here is that anything is possible when you lie. At some point in his life, Stuart discovered that lying got him places and never learned a reason to stop. He has a strained relationship with the truth and appears to lack the fundamental ability to feel empathy, but he gives the punters what they want, and that's going to bring him all the success and attention he craves in the conspiracy universe.
63 posts, Jack. 63.
63?
I'm not going to say it's a huge week in Pete Evans.
It's not huge.
Okay. Give me a sec. Let's try this. It's been a huge week in Pete Evans.
Huge.
Yeah, it just... it doesn't work with the inflection.
No.
I'm lying to myself. I'm not Stu Peters after all. So he's still pumping out podcasts. He did an interview with Dr. Pierre Corey, who the ego behind the ivermectin debacle. If it wasn't for him, we probably would have never had a Craig Kelly in this country. He would have just been another fucking liberal backbencher doing his thing. Ivermectin, what a drug. So Corey wanted to be the hero and save the world. I mean, once he found this potential cure for COVID because someone put it in a petri dish and it happened to kill it in insane quantities, he put his entire career behind horse paste. This is insane, but he did it. And once Trump has caught hold of this and became this weird opposition defiant disorder thing, his spectacular failure to demonstrate any kind of actual efficacy for ivermectin became more of a political issue than a fucking medical one, and he became one of those conspiracy theorist doctors who spend more time talking about bullshit therapies that they sell on the sly than they do with actual patients or anything of any kind of fucking use. If they even ever saw them in the first place, let's face it, when was the last time that guy practiced?
Junk interview, Pete. Junk interview.
I hope it was a while ago. He also catches up with his mate Alex Svetsky, the Bitcoin guy. We talked about him before. For an episode called Ups and Downs. You can fucking say that again. Where are the ups though, Alex? Where are the ups? Which features the downs. Excellent but sad byline description. You can't indefinitely hold a beach ball underwater. Now,
well, you can.
I'm just going to say, look, I don't know the science behind it. I reckon you probably can. But I can see the metaphor. But do you know what does tend to go underwater? Ponzi schemes, Alex. Yeah. Ponzi schemes.
That's what's sink.
But Svetsky, just like Corey and ivermectin, has made Bitcoin his entire life. This is his career. This is his raison d'etre. You know, this is what he does. And now that Bitcoin is tanked and the whales have made their money, pumped and dumped and fucked all the little guys, he's still there trying to convince people, little people, to put their money into crypto.
Please.
Mate, just stop it. You've done enough harm already. You've fucked enough people. Why is your dick still out of your pants? Put it away and go and get a job. But it's mostly just shit memes. I mean, Pete did a video which I desperately hope might be funny. It wasn't.
Oh, Pete.
It was just an ad for his subscription-based Evolve app. Oh, he wasn't wearing a shirt as per usual.
Oh,
I didn't get a boner. Bless me, I tried. I'm just bored. His voice is so annoying.
Getting boring, Pete.
You got a nice hairline. I don't fucking care, bro. So apparently Joe Rogan is reading a book by RFK Jr. on Dr. Fauci. So we have that to look forward to. Dude bros are saying how their mind was blown by the latest Joe Rogan dropping truth bombs about Fauci. Oh my God, that guy should totally hang. We should shoot him. Sounds great. Titillating. I don't fucking care. No, I don't care, Pete.
Yeah, I know that book, by the way, and it's a pile of garbage. So
Yeah.
it's no surprise that Rogan will be reading it.
Pure trash. But Rogan's a trash person. Trash goes trash. So Pete also posted a few hot takes on how apparently Australia wants to reintroduce masks. I mean, fuck me. Stop the press. People are trying to reduce disease transmission during a pandemic. I still wear masks. Not always, but I do.
I
Fuck,
do too.
Pete. Call the UNHCR because there's a fucking dictatorship coming in at full steam. Like, what are you talking about? Pete, the thing is, you don't mix with the commoners. If you went to a fucking shopping centre, you would see that many people are still wearing masks to avoid transmission, especially in winter. While I don't expect him to give a fuck because Pete lacks the ability to feel empathy on a pathological level, we don't judge him for this. I think that's ableist.
Yeah.
But people are still regularly
I'm judging.
dying from COVID. Yet we are living with a virus. It definitely feels good to be back to normal. I love music festivals. Oh, bless. But not everyone is living with the virus because some people are fucking dying with it, man.
Look, I actually did see Pete in the Sydney airport, actually, some years ago. It was pre-COVID. And you know what? He was just walking around with the plebs, you know, you'd gone through the X-ray machines and so forth. So,
No chairman's lounge?
no, not the chairman's lounge.
Not fair.
And you know what? I said, God, yeah, that's Pete Evans. And you know what? He was looking scared. He was looking scared because he was in amongst the plebs, and that at
Amazing.
any given time, someone might get up and goes, "Hi, are you Pete Evans?"
Yeah, exactly.
He was looking terrified,
love
eyes
that.
darting around. Please don't approach me.
I mean, let's face it. Whatever he did the night before probably put him in a situation, which I can relate to, that doesn't want to have human contact in any way, shape, or form, especially with the general public. So I can sympathize with him. If the pingers were strong and the sleep was short, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Otherwise, you are definitely allergic to the pause and you have a real class issue.
He was quietly terrified.
But this is the thing, man. Pete, I am so fucking bored of you right now.
you're
I
getting
have been
boring,
covering
Pete.
you forever, and you've never been this boring. You were so much funnier before Bitcoin crashed. I swear it scarred you, and you're never going to be the same again.
Yeah, I think
You're
so.
just playing the same shit over and over again. You're a broken fucking record. You're a scratch CD. And you know what that means? I end up saying the same shit over and over again. This fucking segment's about you, dickhead. This segment is only as good as you are. Do you not want this segment to be funny? It's your namesake. Pete, come on, do something.
Come on, Pete.
Give me something to work with here, because from here onwards, mate, I'm just going to say it right now, this is not yours anymore. The final spot is going to be a race to the funniest. Yeah. After almost 100 consistent weeks in Pete Evans, you are going to have to earn your fucking spot. So, Pete, if you make me chuckle or, let's face it, more likely, irrationally upset, then you got the spot. I'll mock you spitefully, I'll call out your shit politics, and we'll play the delightful theme song that, let's face it, everyone loves. And I'm sorry, guys, but if the newly minted Senator Zippy Deej Babette brings the content, and he will, a new segment will be born. Deej and Titles. Thank you, Andrew, for the amazing segment name.
Very, very good.
I can't claim that. Deej and Titles. If you don't know Deeds and Titles, it's funny. But come on, Pete. Do something.
Come on, Pete.
Do something. Your constant advertising for Evolve Sanctuary is so desperate. Clearly, you lost a lot of money on Bitcoin. And shit vaccines and bad memes are boring. Otherwise, come on, Zippy. Show us your Deej and Titles.
And you have been listening to the Conditional Release program with your hosts, Jack the Insider and Joel Hill. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed our bullshit, throw us a 5-star review on your podcast app.
Jack can be found on Twitter on @JackTheInsider and Joel on @CrunchMoses with a K. We've set up a Facebook page you can find fairly easily. If you haven't found already, maybe you don't know how to use computers. It's fine. Promoting a podcast is easy said than done. So if you'd share this episode or do something, because if we do it, it's embarrassing and weird. But if you do it, it's like this great endorsement by some smart person, because you're clearly really clever and have the respect of your peers. Otherwise, why would you listen to this, bro?
Yeah, exactly. And the Patreon is up and running, and we ask listeners to consider throwing a few dollars our way.
For as little as $5 a month, you'll have access to all sorts of bonus content, which we're trying to make more of because, fuck it, you deserve it. If you give us a little bit more money, you'll have other benefits like access to us in the form of even watching us record the show. But if we get to 1,000 patrons, and we're not far off, relative terms, we promise Jack will get diphtheria and die live on air.
I will do that. We love the grift. It's just that we're not as good at it as the cookers. Nowhere near as good as Stu Peters anyway. Help us. We're morally conflicted.
Don't make me start flogging cubby houses made of cling wrap to you motherfuckers, because I will also start flogging water filters and ivermectin incense. These are things that are on my list, and by God, I'm going to start a web shop tomorrow. Join up at patreon.com/conditional release program and spare me the indignity.
And finally, all feedback, tips, and death threats should be sent to the conditional release program at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, even if it's to tell us that someone dressed up as police is coming to arrest us. Don't worry, it's only drunk Stu Peters throwing stuff around.
I'm worried.
Thanks,
I'm very worried. Thanks, listeners.
Oh, it's been a long one. See ya.
See ya.
I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
Fuck me, you guys are bastards.